In this video, we'll discuss what technical training and customer training is about, and we'll give you a good introduction of how we create the training and why we do it. Technical training focuses on developing specific skills and knowledge related to technology and tools used in a particular field. It aims to enhance students' abilities to perform their jobs effectively, often involving hands on practice and real world applications. Key aspects can include software training, equipment operation, and troubleshooting. Some of the benefits are improves productivity, ensures compliance, and enhances team performance. Customer training, on the other hand, is designed to help customers understand and effectively use a product or service. The training is crucial for customer satisfaction and retention. Key elements include aims to educate customers on product features, usage, and best practices. Some of the benefits are increased customer success, reduces support queries, and fosters loyalty. Both training types are essential for organizational success, focusing on skill development and customer engagement, respectively. And just from experience, you have to have both the skills training and that customer training combined into one. And our next slide is going to talk about some of the aspects of what the benefits are. In this slide, we have some very interesting facts about customer training. Companies with customer training teams have some of the following characteristics. 26% reduce their client support interactions. That means less phone calls to those service teams. 55% improve customer relations. 56% of their trained customers use more product features. And we saw this at Motorola when we trained those first responders how to use their radios. They used more of those features and had less questions when they needed to use those radios. 68% of their trained customers use products more often. 87% of their trained customers use products more independently, and companies with trained customer experience a 92% renewal rate. That means they'll buy more of your product because they're happy with that customer training. And we have more people retiring. This comes back to when we had COVID back in the 2020. We saw that between 2019 and 2020, we had 3.2 million more baby boomers retiring that year. And then experts expected similar numbers for 2020 on and onward. So that means more people retiring means more people to train. So a customer training organization really is needed to make that customer happy and continue their loyalty. Developing technical training, we use the model where much training has been and is being developed. And that's the ADDIE model, ADDIE. And that stands for assess, design, develop, implement, and evaluate your training. And our next slide, we're going to go into more detail on that ADDIE model. On this slide, we're going to discuss what is ADDIE, ADDIE. And as we said in the last slide, you can see across the top here, we have assess, design, develop, deliver, and evaluate. And on the bottom, you can see tying this into some normal training terms that people who aren't involved in technical training or customer product training, you have performance consulting, you have solution design, content development, distributed knowledge transfer, and then evaluation and feedback. These are common terms in the training industry today. So let's talk a little bit about assess. Understanding the customer's operational situation. So if we're developing technical product training that we're going to deliver to our customers, we need to do several things before we even start designing or developing that training. And we need to understand the customer's operational situation. We need to do a needs analysis. What is their need out there? What is their population of audience that needs something? What's the gap analysis? What do they know today and what do they need to know tomorrow? root cause analysis. Why would we be doing this training? Can they just use a quick reference card from technical publications or a user manual to get the information they need? And we should be talking about at this time not only our ID learning solution, but ensuring that we've identified that target audience, as I mentioned before. What is that audience? Who are they? What do they need? What are they looking for from this training? And then we move into that design block, designing the solution. So this would actually be, what type of training are we developing? We would be using content roadmaps. So if we have a curriculum already identified for this technology, we would be looking at how this new training material evolves into that content roadmap. We would be looking at design methodology. Are we developing an online training course, an instructor led training course? Are we doing blended learning where they may have to attend some online training and some instructor led training? We also determine what design tools and templates we may be using. And what you're going to find out as we go through training on, how to develop technical training, I always recommend using templates. It makes it quicker, because if you're developing customer training on a product, that product has a development roadmap all of its own from engineering till it gets out the door with marketing and sales. So we have to ensure that we're keeping up with the development of that training to meet that launch date of that product going out to our customers, so the customer can have training when they receive that product in hand. So the design tool is very important. Is it going to be PowerPoint? Is it going to be instructor led with instructor notes in the PowerPoint? Are we going to have exercises? If so, if those exercises are hands on, how are we going to develop those? Are we going to use a Word document in conjunction with the PowerPoint? And then what is the tool you're using if you're going to do multimedia or online training? Will it be Camtasia? Will it be Articulate? Will it be other online learning tools? And that would also include, what microphone are you using to record the voiceover? Are you going to use AI for recording that voiceover? Are you writing scripts, or you're just doing a free for all like I'm doing right now on this slide? What is the purpose, and how are you going to develop that as all part of that design, the solution block? Once we get into development, we better have our blueprint or a design document ready to go. So as we're developing that material, we know what we need to develop and in what order are we developing that material. So here it says develop training materials and technical publications. So if you're developing both, and you don't have to be developing both, but if you are, you got to determine what are the standard things you're developing. Are you developing user guides and technical manuals? Are you developing tailored um, multimedia? That would be okay. You got these manuals, but you're also developing videos for the online training, how to videos for that person watching them, how to do something. What type of online learning would it be? Would it be a self paced where it's all inclusive? Or is it online learning where they watch something and maybe they got to read something, or they're going to do something outside that online? Do we have a virtual classroom? Do we have blended learning where they're taking some courses online and then they're joining a virtual classroom to complete that online training, or they're going to attend instructor led training in person at some location that's deemed necessary? And then once we do the development, and again, we have to have that blueprint, that what I've always called the detailed design document, before we do the development. And then once we get the development done and it's approved, then we move into delivery, and that's using whatever you have to deliver that information. So let's say you have an online training module or a complete course, you're going to need some place to put it. In most cases, we call that a learning management system, And that learning management system is usually where we put the online training because there we have the ability to track the learner's training development, what the percentage of the completion is, where they're at in their completion. Have they got 80% done or did they complete it? And then also, if we have hands on, how are they doing that hands on? Can we do that hands on online where we provide them some software and then some procedures that they have to do and some tasks they have to perform? And then we also have a thing that we call distributed learning, and that would be self study material like the online course, or it could be a virtual instructor classroom. We could also just be providing some online help to them where they can go to a library as they're using the product and find out or answer questions on how to use that product. Whatever how we deliver it, that could be online, that could be instructor led, it could be virtual classroom, it could be user guides, self help study material. Once we deliver that information, that content, then we have to get into the evaluation portion of it. And how do we make sure that the instruction that we've created is actually working? And that's when we go into this evaluation of end of course. We have the course test or final exams and quiz that we give. And then we can always do the callback and check to see how that training is working in the real world. So calling them back 30 days or later to give that student a chance to get back to their work site and tell us how they've been using the training. What were we missing in the training itself? Did we cover everything they needed to do as far as skills and tasks? But again, we can do that in level 1 through level 3 testing. We can do a measurement and evaluation where the instructor actually there, while they're doing their hands-on training, measures them and evaluates how they did. Quality reporting, that's nothing more than the quality of the training material and was it useful? And that customer feedback, and usually that customer feedback is tied to your level 1, which is the end of course review, and also the 30 days or after when you're contacting that customer after they've done the training and they're out in the field actually having to perform their job. Was the training useful for them? And then once we take that feedback, we take that and bring it back into the first block of the ADDIE model called assess. And we take that feedback as we're doing our needs analysis and gap analysis to make sure if we're updating that training, that we're updating with the customer feedback in mind and we're making any necessary adjustments to that training material. But this is the ADDIE model. It's very common, and we use it quite extensively in all training development, not just technical training. One thing we have to realize is technical training or customer training is not magic and will not happen on its own. It takes dedicated people to design, develop, and deliver this training. Starting a technical training program should not be taken lightly. And should be well thought out, and detailed planning should be in place before you start putting a team together. And it's different than other training teams, especially if you think about employee learning. A lot of the learning that employees get today are compliance training set up by the federal government or state government, and also internal regulations for a company. I would say, in my experience, very little employee training goes to the actual skills of the job. Most companies hire people that have skills already for that position they're hiring that person for, and they expect that person to bring the skills on board. Technical training and customer training is a bit different because we're looking at those technical skills they need to have for that product that they're buying in order for to use that product in order to install and troubleshoot that product on the technical side. So it's pretty inclusive. So it's a bit different. So don't take on forming a technical training team lightly. It will take some work. Technical training can involve the following: instructor led training with hands on for the students, online, what we also call e learning training, where all the content is taken online, usually via a learning management system or an LMS. Virtual classroom, where the students join the instructor online, usually involves equipment demonstrations as well as students using the software at their own computers. Then we have blended learning, where some of the course material is done online by the student, and then the student will participate with the instructor led training in person or via virtual classroom. Now, all of these methods are effective in their own right if designed and developed appropriately. In upcoming videos, we will discuss the process that has proven to work for designing, developing, and delivering technical training to customers who use your products. And as always, you'll find out after these videos if you have any questions on the material that was presented. You can always reach out via my YouTube channel, and I'll answer all those questions. And hopefully, you'll get about one video a week on technical training. And I think the first one coming up, we'll talk about the 6 steps, kind of tied to that ADDIE model that I've used in a lot of my technical training development teams. And then we'll go from there. Take care. Thanks for watching.